Chip and Sally had asked me to say a few words to you this morning as an invocation. And when I began to think about an invocation for today, I remembered a book I'd read a few years ago. It was Dan Millman's The Laws of Spirit, a tale of transformation, powerful truths that make life work. And the book is about a man who goes on this imaginary hike in the mountains, not far from his home, and maybe it looked a little bit like it does here right now. But on this hike, he meets this woman who comes to be called the sage, and the sage refers to this hiker as traveler. So on this imaginary hike with this teacher, she comes to him with 12 different teachings, which she calls spiritual laws. The teacher uses the surroundings, the flora, the fauna, the terrain to introduce the teachings. And I just want to highlight 3 of them in this few minutes we have together because they amplify some of the things about our day, some of the things about your work. So three of these spiritual teachings are this: the law of choices, the law of process, and the law of faith. The law of choices is basically this, that decisions are not made with words, decisions are made with actions. You know, most creatures don't have many choices. If you think about the animals, they act through their instinct, they act through their natures. But you and I, we have many powers of choice, and our lives represent an exercise of this power. We can choose our course of action after we learn things. We can choose it in response to learning and experience and intuition. Or we can simply let our habits determine what we do, and many people do that. Your being here today means something. It means that you take choices seriously. And the teacher, the sage in this imaginary hike, says that there's something spiritual about that. Remember, the storyteller is sharing what he says are powerful truths for making life work. So the law of process, that's the law of choices. The law of process changes any journey into a series of small steps, taken one by one to reach any goal. Process teaches patience, it relies on preparation, and it embodies a kind of trust that something good will happen. There's something unfolding. And you here at our day, all of you have been doing this for a long time. The teacher calls it a spiritual process. Even the tedious steps that can seem to be so drawn out, they are nature's assurance that we can reach almost any goal, no matter how lofty, by breaking it down into small steps. Francis Bacon wrote, "We rise to great heights by a winding staircase." Another powerful truth for making life work. And finally, the law of faith is about trusting in spirit. Faith is that link to a universal wisdom known by many names. We often call it God. Faith reminds us that we know more than we've heard or read or studied. And we want to look and we want to listen to that wisdom of the universal spirit because it works through us all. And the teacher leads the traveler up a path, and they look out over a colorful field of flowers. Reds and yellows and bright blues. And she tells the traveler that faith does not require you believe in an external God. Only believe in flowers. Because just as the flower opens each morning, the Spirit works in us to bring about something beautiful. So it's not so much about believing in something as it is to live our lives as if we are the flowers. Flowers have much to teach us about faith. And faith is one of the most practical, reasonable, and constructive things you can do to live an inspired life. Just believe in flowers. So may this day be blessed with opportunities to practice these simple and not so simple laws of spirit, these truths for making life work. May your choices reflect what you want to be. And may you not be worn down by the many steps you need to take. And may your belief in flowers inspire your work today. Amen.